Aaron Hayes moved cautiously through the dense alien forest, his boots sinking slightly into the soft, glowing moss that covered the ground. The air was thick with a sweet, tangy scent, unlike anything on Earth, and the faint hum of luminescent insects surrounded him like a living symphony. Every so often, a breeze would stir the hanging vines, revealing glimpses of floating flora, plants that seemed to defy gravity, drifting in midair for a moment before settling back down. He had been sent ahead of the research team to photograph a rare flower that emitted a faint blue light. It was considered a delicacy by scientists, not for eating, but for its unique photoluminescent properties. Aaron had his camera raised, trying to get the perfect shot when a sudden movement in the corner of his eye froze him. A figure leaped from behind a tree and landed gracefully on the moss with no sound at all. It was a young woman, humanoid but not human. Her skin shimmered faintly in the moonlight, reflecting hues of green and gold. Her hair, long and silver, flowed down her back like liquid metal. She wore lightweight armor that hugged her form and carried a short staff, which she twirled with effortless skill. Aaron froze, unsure whether she was a threat. Before he could react, she ran toward him with surprising speed and without warning leapt onto his back, straddling him playfully. He stumbled forward and hit the ground, the wind knocked out of him. "Hey!" "What? Wait," Aaron gasped, his hands instinctively gripping her thighs to stabilize them. He wasn't sure what he was supposed to do, push her off, yell, run. "I got you," the alien said with a laugh, her voice musical and light. "You can't escape me, human," Aaron blinked. The words didn't make any sense yet, but her eyes, bright and curious, seemed innocent. She was smiling, not hostile. Still, something about her felt strange. Her body tensed slightly against his own, and he noticed a subtle heat radiating from her skin that didn't seem ordinary. He tried to stay calm, reminding himself that aliens often had different ways of expressing themselves, and physical play might be normal to her species. He slowly lowered himself to sit on the moss, careful not to hurt her. "Okay," he said evenly, keeping his voice calm. "I'm not going to run, but maybe can you get off me?" Lyra tilted her head as if puzzled by his words. "Why would I do that? This is the challenge." "You have to stay still, human." Aaron forced a smile, trying not to panic. He had read reports about the Orlites, an alien race known for their combat skills and playful rituals, but he didn't remember any mention of this kind of closeness. Still, he trusted himself to stay respectful. Minutes passed. Aaron tried to reason quietly to himself, studying her features while she remained perched on him. Her eyes held an intensity he couldn't quite place, and a strange warmth pulsed from her, almost magnetic. It was subtle, almost imperceptible, but Aaron felt it deep in his chest. And Lyra was confused too. She had never felt such sensations before. In Orlite biology, playful contact among the young often triggered minor chemical reactions in the brain: excitement, adrenaline, joy. But humans were different. Somehow, this human had triggered a stronger response than she expected. Her instincts, normally under tight control, began to stir in ways she didn't understand. "What's happening to me?" she thought, blinking rapidly. She could feel her heartbeat accelerating, her body responding instinctively, but she had no context for it. She didn't even fully understand humans, and she certainly had no idea about pheromones. Aaron, noticing the change in her demeanor, shifted slightly to give her balance. "Lyra, right. I think your name is Lyra," he guessed, remembering the translator app on his wrist. "Listen, whatever this is, we need to calm down. Just sit still for a moment, okay?" Lyra hesitated. Her instincts screamed one thing, but her mind, surprisingly, could understand his calm words. It was strange. Humans were so grounding. He radiated patience and control, qualities she rarely encountered in anyone. Slowly she relaxed a fraction, though the odd tingling warmth still hummed inside her. They stayed like that for a while. Aaron began to notice the finer details. Her skin shimmered like liquid under the glowing moss, and the faint scent she carried, sweet, floral, and something else he couldn't name, was oddly soothing. His human senses, always keen on Earth, were heightened here, and he realized just how unique this species was. "I should call my team," he finally said softly, careful not to startle her. Lyra tilted her head, curious. "Call them? Why, you're fine, I'm fine. This is fun." Aaron exhaled. "It might not be fun for them if I'm late." That made her pause. Humans followed rules, schedules. They weren't like the Orlites, who valued instinct and play above all. She found that difference fascinating. As he reached for his communicator, the ground suddenly shook beneath them. A low, rumbling growl echoed through the trees. Aaron's eyes widened. "Stay close. Don't move." From behind the dense foliage, a creature emerged. It was massive, quadrupedal, with scales that glimmered like obsidian and eyes that burned like molten gold. It growled again, low and threatening, and began moving toward them. Lyra's instincts immediately kicked in. She leapt from Aaron's back, landing in a crouch, staff raised. Her eyes glowed faintly with her internal energy, ready to attack. Aaron, though startled, followed suit. He grabbed a small stun device from his belt, nothing lethal but enough to buy time. The creature lunged, and Lyra moved with fluid precision, sidestepping its attacks while Aaron aimed and fired the stun device. Sparks flew, and the creature yelped, momentarily stunned, before shaking it off and advancing again. Aaron realized then that this was no ordinary alien encounter. This planet was dangerous, and Lyra's species was perfectly adapted for it. But humans had ingenuity. While she danced around the creature, he calculated trajectories, set traps, and guided her subtly. Together they were a team, unspoken, instinctive, and effective. After several tense minutes, the creature finally retreated, irritated but unharmed. Lyra exhaled deeply, her instincts still buzzing from the adrenaline. She looked at Aaron, a mixture of surprise and newfound respect in her eyes. You're different," she said softly, almost to herself. Aaron smiled, wiping sweat from his brow. "And you're amazing. I've never seen anything like you." There was a moment of silence between them, not awkward but charged with unspoken understanding. Lyra's instincts were still present, a strange warmth lingering, but now mixed with curiosity and admiration. And Aaron, despite the oddness of the situation, felt a growing connection, a bridge forming between human patience and Orlite instinct. Finally, Aaron spoke again. "I think it's time we get back to my team. They're probably worried sick." Lyra hesitated, then nodded. "I think you're right, but stay close to me. This forest isn't as friendly as it looks." Aaron chuckled softly. "Don't worry, I've got your back." Together they moved back through the glowing forest, each step a careful dance of trust, respect, and mutual fascination. Aaron couldn't stop thinking about how remarkable Lyra was, her strength, her agility, and the strange connection he could feel even across species. Lyra, meanwhile, couldn't shake the odd fluttering in her chest, the lingering effects of her instincts, and the unexpected calm this human brought her. As they approached the clearing where Aaron's team had set up base, Lyra glanced at him and smiled. "You're not like the others, I like that." Aaron smiled back, feeling the weight of the adventure settling into something warmer than adrenaline. "I'm glad," he said simply, "because I like you too as a friend." Lyra blinked, slightly puzzled, but nodded. Friendship, that was a new concept for her. But as they stepped into the camp, the glowing moss beneath their feet, the sounds of the forest around them, and the unspoken bond between human and Orlite, both knew this encounter was only the beginning. The forest seemed to hum approvingly, as if acknowledging the connection between two very different species brought together by chance, courage, and curiosity. And neither Aaron nor Lyra would forget the first day they truly saw each other, not as human or Orlite, but as two beings learning to navigate a strange, beautiful, and dangerous world together. The morning sunlight filtered through the alien canopy, casting shifting patterns on the glowing moss beneath their feet. Aaron Hayes stood near the edge of the camp, adjusting his equipment, while Lyra moved gracefully among the trees, her senses alert to every sound and movement. She had spent the night thinking about the human who had so calmly faced the forest predator, and a strange mixture of curiosity and respect simmered inside her. Aaron approached her cautiously, careful not to startle her. "Lyra," he said softly, "I thought you might want to see the rest of the team today. They've been worried." Lyra turned, her silver hair shimmering in the sunlight. "I know, but I like being here with you first. There's so much to see, and I don't understand humans yet." Aaron smiled. "Then let's start slow. I can show you a few things about how we explore, how we study, and maybe you can teach me more about this place and your abilities." She tilted her head. "Abilities? You mean the way I fight?" "Yes," Aaron said, "and the way you move, sense things, and react. There's a lot humans can learn from you, and I think you can learn from me too." Lyra considered this, then nodded. "Okay, but no tricks, human. Playful tricks are common here, but I don't want to get hurt." Aaron laughed. "Fair enough. No tricks." They began walking deeper into the forest, moving carefully along a path lit by bioluminescent plants. Aaron explained the different species of flora and fauna, pointing out plants that could heal, insects that produced light, and trees that shifted slightly during the day to maximize sunlight absorption. Lyra watched him closely, fascinated by how he observed the world with patience and care. "You notice everything," she said finally. "Most humans would just rush through, stepping on plants, scaring creatures. But you see life differently." Aaron shrugged. "We have to be careful. One wrong step and we could damage this ecosystem, or ourselves." Lyra's instincts flared briefly. She wanted to jump, spin, and play as she would with another Oralite, but Aaron's calm presence reminded her to regulate herself. Instead, she followed him, observing quietly, noting his careful gestures, his methodical approach, and his constant awareness. As they walked, Aaron noticed subtle changes in her behavior. She lingered closer than a typical companion might, her gaze occasionally flicking to him, and her movements carried an unusual energy. He didn't fully understand it yet, but he respected the signs. "Lyra," he said gently, "if there's something you want to do, something you feel, it's okay to tell me. I'm human, yes, but I can understand a lot." Her silver eyes widened slightly. Humans were rarely so patient, so open. In her culture, feelings were often hidden, instincts acted upon immediately, and emotions could be overwhelming. But Aaron, this human, offered clarity and understanding. She wanted to test it. "Do you want to see how I fight?" she asked cautiously. Aaron nodded. "Absolutely." "Show me." They reached a small clearing where rocks were arranged like stepping stones over a shallow stream. Lyra shifted into a combat stance, her body coiling with energy. Aaron watched, fascinated. Her movements were fluid, precise, and beautiful. Every strike, every step was calculated yet instinctive. As she twirled her staff, a leaf fell near Aaron. His eyes followed it, and he realized how synchronized she was with her environment. Then, without warning, she leaped toward him, not attacking, but landing lightly on his shoulders in a playful demonstration of balance and agility. Aaron froze, heart racing. He remembered the first encounter and the subtle warmth that had arisen then. Now it was stronger yet different. He maintained calm, supporting her carefully. "Steady," he said softly. "I've got you." Lyra blinked, surprised by his steadiness. Most creatures, humans or otherwise, would have panicked or jerked away. She felt a rush of emotion, an instinct she didn't fully control, mixed with admiration for his composure. Slowly, she climbed down, landing softly on the moss. "That was different," she admitted, brushing leaves from her armor. "You didn't move the way I expected." "Most humans would have fallen," Aaron smiled, brushing a strand of silver hair from his face. "I've learned to adapt, and I'm learning from you too." For hours, they practiced together. Lyra taught him basic Oralite movements, balance, agility, and defensive stances. Erin, in turn, showed her human strategies, how to anticipate patterns, how to use terrain, and how to think several moves ahead in combat. They laughed when he stumbled, cheered when she mastered a technique, and shared stories of their worlds. Around midday, the glowing forest shimmered in the sunlight, casting long shadows across the moss. Lyra paused, sitting on a flat rock. "You are not like the humans I have seen before. You think, but you also act. You do not rush, yet you do not hesitate." Erin sat beside her, careful not to crowd her space. "We try to balance thought and action. Sometimes we fail, but we learn. You're teaching me more than you know." Lyra's instincts stirred again, subtly, when he sat close. She felt a mix of curiosity, admiration, and something she had never identified before. Humans triggered strange reactions in her body, emotions she couldn't name, impulses she couldn't act on. It was confusing, but it was also interesting. Before they could continue, a distant roar echoed through the forest. Erin's eyes narrowed. "We should check that out. It might be another predator or something bigger." Lyra nodded, instantly alert. "Follow me. I know a path that is safer." They moved quickly, following a narrow trail between luminescent ferns. Erin noticed her instincts in action. She sensed the environment, predicted dangers, and moved with perfect balance. He realized how extraordinary she truly was, more than just physical skill, but an ability to merge perception, reflex, and intuition seamlessly. The roar grew louder, and soon they saw the source, a pack of creatures, slightly smaller than the one they had encountered the day before, but more numerous and aggressive. Lyra tensed, and Erin noticed the subtle quiver in her stance, an instinctive response he understood well. "Stay calm," he whispered. "We can handle this." Using a combination of human strategy and auralite agility, they set up a defensive formation. Erin guided her, suggesting positions and angles while she moved instinctively, protecting him and herself. The creatures attacked, but the duo worked seamlessly, complementing each other. After an intense few minutes, the creatures finally retreated, confused and overwhelmed. Lyra exhaled deeply, her body still buzzing with adrenaline and the lingering effects of her instincts. She looked at Erin wide-eyed. You are different. You didn't just fight, you understood me, the way I move, the way I think." Erin shrugged modestly. "We make a good team, that's all." Lyra's instincts were still present, though subdued. She felt drawn to him in a way she didn't understand. His patience, calm, and respect for her boundaries contrasted sharply with her expectations. For the first time, she realized that a human could trigger not just survival instincts, but something deeper, an emotional bond that was rare among her kind. They sat together for a moment, catching their breath. The forest seemed quieter now, the danger past. Erin looked at her thoughtfully. "Lyra, you don't have to fight like this all the time. Sometimes it's okay to just be." Lyra nodded slowly, absorbing the words. "You are strange, human. You are gentle even when danger is near." "Most would have panicked or rushed, but you understand me." Erin smiled. "That's what humans do. We adapt, we learn, and we try to understand." For the rest of the afternoon, they explored the forest carefully, exchanging knowledge, stories, and laughter. Lyra began to realize that her instincts could be managed, not suppressed, and that Erin's presence helped her do so. And Erin understood that human ingenuity, empathy, and calm could bridge gaps even across species, forming connections that were rare and valuable. As the sun dipped lower, casting long shadows and bathing the forest in golden light, Lyra turned to Erin with a playful smirk. "Tomorrow we train again, but next time I will not be gentle." Erin laughed softly. "I look forward to it. But remember, I've learned from you already. I can handle more than you think." She tilted her head, silver hair catching the last rays of light. "We shall see, human, we shall see." The bond between them had deepened through trust, courage, and mutual respect. Both were learning, not just about the world, but about each other. And as night fell, the glowing forest around them seemed to pulse with quiet approval, a living witness to the connection between human patience and Orlite instinct, a connection that promised adventures, challenges, and discoveries still to come. The next morning, the forest seemed calmer, as if the events of the previous day had shifted the balance. Sunlight filtered through the towering trees, highlighting the glowing moss and shimmering flowers. Aaron and Lyra met at the edge of the camp, both ready for the day's adventure. There was an unspoken understanding between them now, a bond built on trust, respect, and shared experiences. "Ready?" Aaron asked, adjusting the strap of his equipment. Lyra twirled her staff with a flourish, her eyes sparkling. "I am always ready. But today, I think you may finally see what I mean when I said I would not be gentle." Aaron laughed softly. "I'll try to keep up." They ventured deeper into the forest, following a narrow, winding path lined with bioluminescent plants. The air was filled with the soft hum of insects and the occasional rustle of unseen creatures. Aaron observed everything carefully, the plants, the terrain, and Lyra's movements. He had learned much from her agility, reflexes, and instincts, but today he felt prepared to anticipate more, to think ahead in ways that could complement her skills. Lyra noticed his attentiveness. "You have changed," she said. "Yesterday, you moved with caution. Today, you anticipate." Aaron smiled. "I've learned from you. You showed me how to read the forest, how to move with it instead of against it." They reached a clearing with a small, shimmering lake, its surface reflecting the floating flora above. Lyra paused, crouching by the water, scanning the surroundings. Aaron followed, studying her posture. There was a predator nearby. He could feel it instinctively now, just as she could. Suddenly, a rustling sound came from the dense foliage. Aaron raised his hand, signaling Lyra to stay low. A creature emerged, smaller than the ones before, but faster and more cunning. It leaped toward them with sharp claws, eyes glowing with menace. Lyra reacted instinctively, staff raised, moving to intercept the attack. Aaron, anticipating her movements, positioned himself strategically, using rocks and terrain to slow the creature's advance. Together, they moved like a single unit, her agility and instincts combined with his planning and adaptability. The battle was tense, but they managed to drive the creature back without harm. Lyra exhaled, her chest heaving slightly, eyes wide with a mixture of adrenaline and admiration. "You are remarkable, human. You predicted my movements, yet did not interfere. You compliment me." Aaron nodded, catching his breath. "We make a good team. That's what matters." Lyra's instincts were still present, the strange warmth in her chest lingering. She found herself drawn to him, not just because of instinct, but because of his courage, patience, and respect. She had never encountered a being like him before. As they continued, Aaron began to teach her more about human strategies. He demonstrated ways to use the environment for defense, how to anticipate multiple threats at once, and how to combine instinct with careful planning. Lyra absorbed everything quickly, impressed by his intelligence and adaptability. "You are different from other humans," she said thoughtfully. "Most rely on strength or numbers. You think, observe, adapt. You do not fear. And yet you respect." Aaron smiled. "That's how humans survive. Strength is important, but understanding and empathy, they are just as powerful." They paused by a massive tree, its roots twisting like serpents across the glowing moss. Lyra climbed effortlessly, perching on a branch above Aaron. "Watch carefully," she said, demonstrating a series of complex movements that would allow her to navigate the forest with speed and efficiency. Aaron observed, taking mental notes and occasionally testing the movements himself. As the day wore on, their bond grew stronger. They shared stories of their worlds, of cultures, and of challenges they had faced. Lyra laughed at Aaron's tales of Earth mishaps, and Aaron was fascinated by the richness of Orlite culture, their respect for nature, their emphasis on skill and instinct, and their intricate social rituals. By afternoon, they reached a high cliff overlooking a vast valley. The view was breathtaking, with floating islands drifting lazily in the sky and rivers of light weaving through the terrain below. Lyra sat beside Aaron, her usual playful demeanor softened by awe. "This world, it is beautiful," she said softly, "and yet it is dangerous." "Humans could not survive here easily," Aaron nodded. "We can adapt, and we can learn, that's what makes us strong. But this view is worth every risk." They sat in companionable silence, watching the light change across the valley. Lyra felt a deep connection, not just to the forest but to Aaron. Her instincts were still present but tempered by understanding. She realized that what she felt for him was more than instinct. It was respect, admiration, and trust. As they prepared to descend, a sudden alarm sounded from Aaron's communicator. His team had located something unusual, a structure hidden deep within the forest, not marked on any maps. It could hold knowledge, technology, or danger. Aaron looked at Lyra. This could be important. "Are you ready?" Lyra's eyes glowed with excitement. "Always. Lead the way, human." They moved carefully through the undergrowth, approaching the structure. It was partially overgrown, ancient, and clearly not built by Orlites. Aaron examined the exterior, noting symbols and markings that suggested intelligence far beyond what they had seen on the planet. Lyra's instincts flared. She sensed danger, but also a strange curiosity, as if the structure was alive in some way. Inside, they discovered a series of chambers filled with strange devices and glowing crystals. Aaron's translator device struggled to interpret the symbols, but he could see the potential knowledge contained within. Lyra explored cautiously, her senses alert to any traps or threats. Suddenly, a low hum filled the air. Crystals along the walls began to glow brighter, and a holographic figure emerged, a being of light and energy, communicating in a language neither fully understood. Aaron and Lyra exchanged a glance, knowing they would need to work together to decipher the message. Aaron approached carefully, attempting to interface with the technology. Lyra stood beside him, her instincts guiding her movements and decisions. Together, human ingenuity and Oralite intuition created a synergy that allowed them to unlock part of the message. It spoke of knowledge, warnings, and a history of the planet that neither humans nor Oralites had known. Lyra's eyes widened as she realized the significance. This could change everything. Our people, your people, we could learn so much." Aaron nodded, a sense of awe and responsibility settling over him. "We have to share this carefully. Knowledge is powerful, but it must be handled wisely." As they left the structure, the forest seemed to hum in approval. Lyra glanced at Aaron, her usual playfulness returning. "You are, unlike any human I have ever met, brave, clever, patient, and yet kind." Aaron smiled. "And you, Lyra, are unlike any being I have ever met. Strong, instinctive, curious, and willing to teach me." They laughed softly, the tension of the day easing. For the first time, both understood that their connection went beyond instinct, beyond species. It was a partnership, one of mutual respect, trust, and admiration. As night fell, the glowing forest illuminated their path back to the camp. They moved together, side by side, each aware of the other's presence in a way that was comforting and empowering. Lyra's instincts were still present, but they no longer confused her. They were tempered by understanding, by the guidance of a human who had shown her patience and respect. At the edge of the camp, Aaron turned to her. "We've done a lot today, learned a lot, and survived." Lyra smiled, silver hair catching the faint glow of bioluminescent plants. "Yes, and I trust you, human, more than I thought possible." Aaron nodded, a sense of pride and warmth filling him. "I trust you too, Lyra, and whatever comes next, we face it together." The forest around them pulsed softly, as if acknowledging the bond that had formed between human and Oralite. It was a connection born of challenge, understanding, and respect, a bridge between two worlds. And as they prepared to rest for the night, both knew that their story was only beginning. Adventures would come, dangers would arise, and the mysteries of the planet were far from solved. But for now, Aaron and Lyra sat together, two very different beings, united by courage, empathy, and the quiet, enduring strength of trust. And in that moment, the forest seemed to whisper promises of new discoveries, deepening bonds, and the extraordinary potential that humanity and Oralite could achieve when they worked side by side. The stars above began to shimmer, reflecting in their eyes, as the first chapter of their journey together came to a peaceful close, an ending that was not truly an end, but the beginning of a lifelong connection, built on respect, friendship, and the unspoken understanding that humans and Oralites could learn from each other in ways neither species had ever imagined.